Hello scribes, welcome back to my channel. It's Pika Lee and I'm here to welcome you into the new year with a new video on the last course that I finally got to take with the UCLA Extension program. Welcome back to my channel, scribes. If you're new here, welcome. Take a look around. I hope you like some of my videos. They're all aimed at building a writer's foundation out of the knowledge, hard work, and mentality that we explore here on my channel. Now, this course is one of the courses that is required if you're going to take the Feature and Television Comprehension certificate. I took pre-production and production for film and TV. Remember that UCLA Extension program has standalone classes, so you can take this as a standalone class. Now, this course mostly focuses on what a producer is in terms of getting things from pre-production to the post-production stage. It neatly packages a lot of the experiences and real-world aspects as it's said in the actual course outline, and I thought it did pretty great at going ahead and giving me that huge overview of what a producer does from beginning while picking a script all the way to the end once you get to distribution. Now, some of these are covered in a later course, so anything post-production is most likely going to be covered in the post-production course that you can take. But coming from a video production degree, I do already know a lot more about the post-production side of things, so this course suited a lot of my needs for looking at the business aspect of taking a script from conception and getting it produced. That includes script development, which is something that, as you know, I've spoken in a few other videos that I'm super interested in learning, so I was quite excited for this course. Now, this course at the time of taking it was $699 out of pocket. Remember, they do not take any sort of financial aid, so it's either out of pocket or it's going to be most likely a private loan. Of course, you could always opt for getting a grant or a scholarship from outside of the college itself. The duration was about 11 weeks or so, and of course, it was for 4 credits. Now, some of you may have seen my previous video where I do talk about how I actually took a previous spec drama writing television course and how that worked. I did have an option for either graded or just for, I believe it was like credits or pass or fail or something like that. But in this case, it has changed a bit. I did not see an option for getting anything other than a standard letter grade. Now, 4 units translates to 4 credits. So if you're used to calling them credits, that's exactly what they're saying here when they do say that you are taking this course and you are getting 4 units to the class. The format that I received this course in was remote. So I did have a Zoom course lecture, and I did that live every, I believe it was Wednesday at 7 for about 3 hours. It was a once a week class, as most of these courses are once a week, so they are quite long. And I did that from about 7 Pacific Standard Time to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And of course, we did have multiple students in different time zones, so don't think you'll be the only person who isn't in California or in this particular area that will be actually working in the class. There were tons of students who were even across the world, so I definitely recommend that you still look into the times for the course because they are different times, and see which one best fits your location. All of the lectures were held on Zoom, so everybody logged into Zoom. The teacher would have it sent through Canvas, so you will have to log into Canvas, and that is where you will submit all of your submissions for assignments and do all of your discussions should they ask you to do any discussions with any of your actual teammates or your classmates. And that is where you actually see your grade breakdown, your syllabus, everything that you'll need, including downloadable content such as the PowerPoint and any sort of notes or information that they'd like you to have. Same class that I took in about 2017 or 2018. It was also held on Canvas. It does also have a login through an app that you can actually download onto your phone, so it's kind of cool to carry it anywhere that you go and just download any reading materials that you may need. So overall, I thought Zoom is still pretty engaging, and probably more so because you are way more involved within the chat with other students and direct messaging someone about maybe working on an assignment later. and it is really still a very fun way to do it. And now they've got so many features that the instructors are using, such as breakout rooms that kind of separate you from the main room and the main instructor and the main class, and puts you into little groups so that you can talk with others if they have an assignment that sort of warrants that sort of engagement, where you are off with other classmates just working on something that's assigned in the moment. Who does this course benefit? I think this course benefits anyone who is really interested in the business aspect, which should really be everyone, not just a producer or a director. It should be anyone who is looking into the writing side of things, because that business is actually something that you will have to negotiate on your own as a freelancer. Remember, writing is freelancing, so you are going to be pitching your work to producers or to agents or to managers or to directors and other people, and you want that knowledge of how a business functions from conception of the work and finishing the script and developing the script all the way out to distribution, which is the very final step after post-production has been completed. Now, I think this suits anyone from a beginner to an intermediate. I'm not sure if it would benefit an expert level writer who understands the business already, because I think that that comes with knowledge of getting your writing out there to agents and to producers. I think that that's something that if you are already doing those things, like putting this into competitions, winning those competitions, and having meetings and taking those meetings with nice high-level producers or with studios, you may already have some of the concept of what it's like to have an offer or an option. So for me, I think that this would be something beneficial to someone who is not quite sure about how all of the contracts work and how producers function to make your life as a writer so much more easy, and how they get things done to get that film made. I didn't know very much about how a producer even interacts with the writers. I actually was pretty scared of that topic. I never wanted to have anything to do with producing, and I thought I would never go into producing myself, until I found out that the producer is pretty much the sole responsible person for creating a film. They, yes, get the money for the film, but they are the ones who create the schedules. They're the one who gets all of the talent, and they are the ones who attach all of the very important people who are going to actually produce your film. And they are the ones that believe the most in your script. Now, while producers are not the ones who specifically do all of the hiring for each department, they are the ones who put together the whole above the line list. And that means they're the ones who do attach a director. They attach many other producers who are going to help them fulfill and get your movie done. And they are the ones who actually take a lot of the meetings that have to do with everything along the lines of beginning getting your film ready for and developed for the screen, attaching writers, attaching rewriters, attaching everybody else who is going to get this thing done, and creating contracts. And they are also the ones who are going to arrange a lot of the things along the way into pre-production, production, and of course post-production, and finally through to distribution. So they are the ones who neatly package all of this up, and that is how valuable and how important they are. So important to work with the right producer. Now, while these producers have to know so much, they're the ones who deeply believe in why the script should be made. So that means that they are the ones who carefully work with the writers. And if you're a writer, you're going to want to know how a producer thinks and how a writer is going to aid them in getting this whole thing completed. And that comes in with the development portion, which is the longest phase of the producer's actual pre-production phase. And so you are going to be the one working with the producer for quite a while. And if you manage to be hired and not fired from your own script, you're going to be doing all of the rewrites, and you're going to be working with them, and all of the people who are going to give you the money to get the project completely made. A big part of the course that I enjoyed was learning about how intellectual property is taken and created into a final film. Now, I didn't know how rights and how everything interacted with getting things made, so this was something that I really enjoyed. I got to work on a few different projects that had to do with working with intellectual property or IP and how that works with contracting. So that's something that's pretty important to actually learn about, and I was really excited about that being something that was a part, sort of largely a part of the course. This was something that I was interested in because I am writing a musical that is based off of 21 Pilot music, and I wanted to know how you get the permission and how that affects how you get something made. So something like that was really fun for me to actually do a project based off of and figure out how pitching that would go. Of course, you want to make sure you have all rights before you ever do some sort of pitching of a concept that is not wholly original to you. So this sort of producing aspect really made me understand how producers have to think like a business and also think like a creative who is going to get something made that they wholly believe in. That was very valuable in the course. The course went into a lot of the basics of a 3-act structure, log lines, pitching, and how selling and all of that kind of comes together in creating a pitch packet, or sort of putting together that project pitch so that you can go in ready with a producer to get the idea sent off to a great studio that may want to go ahead and produce and put some money into your project. The course also went over a lot of budgeting and scheduling, which I had no idea about. It was really fun to actually see how above the line and below the line talent was utilized and what that even meant. There were so many vocabulary words that I did not know about until I took this course, and it was great to learn a lot of the language that's used when making contracts, when speaking with actual distribution companies, when actually crafting a legitimate legal agreement so that you can have full rights to your project. The course truly touches upon the development phase of working on your project so that you can have a full and legitimately sourced project for companies to put their stakes into. It also taught me to think like a business person as a writer. You want to make sure you're crafting a story that is on budget, that is filmable, sellable, and that is something that's going to be greenlit all the way through. Projects don't get made often, and you will hear many times people talk about how this truly is a tough business. There is no greater thing than knowing how to sell your writing by understanding the business portion of it, because the business side dictates if you will have a huge hit on your hands. You want to make sure that you're keeping your profits really high, and that means that you have to make sure that it is a concept that is fully ready, thought out, and able to be filmed on a time schedule and within a good budget that is going to make sure everybody gets a return that is well worth all of the efforts that you put into a project. So for me, a class like this taught me to think like a producer in the best way possible. If I'm going to write a concept that is going to sell well for the producer and for the studios, I need to know and understand how the business thinks. And this did just that. I highly recommend this class even if you're not thinking about becoming a producer. It's such a valuable amount of information that comes directly from a producer who is letting you know the ins and outs and what the producer is going to look for in terms of getting your project greenlit. And that is something that you will not learn on the internet. It is something that you will only learn from a producer who has done it. I hope this video gave you a good overview of what you'll be learning and helps you decide if you'd like to take something like this yourself. I also hope that you take a look at it on the website for yourself so that you can read some more about the descriptions, and you also will be able to click on the instructor that is being offered for that sort of semester so you can see what their full experience might be bringing into the classroom. If you have any questions for me, make sure to drop them down below. I hope you're enjoying the content on my channel, and I hope to see you on the next one, scribes.